Frame your thinking, master your mindset with Nate Schooler and Kim Adele.
Hey.
Hey, Kim. It's good to see you.
You too. How are things?
Very good. We've been having a lot of water cooler chat this week.
We have?
No, in all seriousness, it's a bit chilly. It's raining, but apart from that, I'm pretty happy, to be fair.
Well, there's lots to be happy about, isn't there? I don't know. I think life sometimes throws us the odd curveball, and we can either let it totally derail us or go, okay, what can we do with it? And this has been a week for just dealing with it, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And also it gives you an opportunity to refocus, right? I mean, that's the beauty of when things don't go the way that you think that they should go or you want them to go. Then you can reflect, can't you, and actually take a look at it and say, well, is this working how I want it to work? Is it not? So it's quite cool, really. It's quite exciting time, I think, actually, to be fair. And so here we're going to talk about water cooler culture, right? And I know you've got more experience with water cooler culture than I have, really, within corporations, right? So do you think it's dead? Do you think, with the pandemic and all this, that the culture is more difficult to manage?
No, I think it just needs you to think differently. So, for me, one of the challenges when you start leading a remote team, and I led my first remote team 20 odd years ago, because I really am that old. But one of the things that I found was that you missed the real connection with people. And that's because you miss what I call the water cooler chats, those moments where you bump into somebody in the office, maybe making a cup of tea, or you get in the lift together, or you end up on the same staircase, whatever it is. But those moments that aren't a meeting, where you'll ask something that's not about work, or you might comment on on their outfit, or ask what they're watching at the moment on Netflix, whatever it is. But you have those moments, and we call them the water cooler moments, but they are those moments of real human connection as opposed to just dealing with work. And then when you move to leading a remote team, you suddenly end up very often in people's homes, like this, so we've entered into somebody's home, and we might not feel that comfortable with that because we're conscious that we might not normally have been invited, but they now have to see us in their home. So what tends to happen, and certainly from a lot of the clients that I've worked with, is they start talking just about work and they get out of the call as quick as they possibly can, thinking that they're helping. But eventually what happens is the person starts to feel disconnected because they're no longer having people that they work with ask how they are, ask what's going on, chatting to them about the things broader than just the work. So with a number of organizations, we've helped them set up the virtual water cooler so that they create an environment and a space where you can just have those opportunities to stop by and chat so that you can make sure that people stay connected. And I think in the new hybrid way of working, one of the things that we're finding is that whereas before people would go into the office to do the work and probably do the social activity outside, actually people are going into the office now for the social connection and are doing a lot of the other work outside. And one of the things that people are really focusing on at the moment is thinking about the activity and which location is most appropriate for it, so that actually you're optimizing the chances for people to connect and team build.
Interesting. So with working from home, I mean, I was sort of looking into this a little bit myself the other day and found an article that sort of said that a lot more people are using like internal communication systems to sort of talk to each other and stuff like that. So do you think it's sort of evolved in terms of the way that you're framing it, is that it's kind of flipped on its head, right? So it's gone from being all about work when you're connecting online to now being more sort of social, perhaps at the beginning, to ask how people are and stuff, or what?
So I guess for me, it's about making it less structured. Nobody wants enforced fun. We'll probably work for those organizations that had like Friday fun or something. You're like, well, what if you feel fun on Friday? We want to be fun on Monday. But so, and I think they can backfire. So it's finding a way to make it work with your people, but get them involved. Ask them what they'd like to do. One of the things that we have is a daily stand-up, but we'll take it in turns what we're going to focus on. But we always have a bit of a chat first about the previous day. What's gone on, what went well, what didn't go so well, just because it's nice to have that connection. So I'd say make it personal, make it something that works for you and your team. Involve them in the solution, because the problem that you're trying to solve is making them feel included, making them feel connected. So tell them that's one of your challenges. Share some of the vulnerability that says, I miss being in the office as often as we were, where we could really connect. So, what could we do so that we can maintain that ability to connect, and then work on it with them, rather than trying to create something that you think will work but may do nothing of benefit for them.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So, I mean, you said a lot about how we can improve culture. I think it's what you're really saying is kind of, we need to listen to the people, right, and find out what they want. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah. So ask your people, what is it that they want? How did they how could they see us creating the right culture? What kind of things would they like to include? Because very often, I remember working for one organisation where I'd not been there very long, and the scores had come back to say that they didn't think we were living the values as a leadership team. So the leaders had gone away to look at it, and they came back and they're like, we've got this great idea, Kim. We're going to fix it. We're going to put posters up around the place of what the values are, and then we're going to invite people to nominate each other for outstanding demonstration of the values. And I was like, okay, that's interesting, because they didn't say they didn't know what the values were, and they didn't say they didn't think they lived them. They said they didn't think we lived them. So I'm not sure that putting posters up on the wall and getting them to nominate each other is going to help fix the fact they don't think we live them. And they were like, I'd not thought of that. They said, well, what should we do? And I said, well, we don't know what it is we're doing currently that makes them think that we don't live them. So maybe we should just ask, what is it we're doing or saying or being that makes you think that we're not aligned to the values? Because it's not our intention, but it is our impact. So we started to have conversations with them and drop in pieces. And then it's about getting really at ease with people's opinion. So I remember one particular girl had come back and she'd been and visited a different part of the organisation, and she was sat telling me and my senior team some of the great things that they did over there and what made it such a great culture. And she was saying, they do, they get emails from the director when they've done something well, and they do this, that, and the other. And my team were getting more and more visibly frustrated. So we kind of, the tactical time out, went to have a chat to them. I was like, what's wrong with it? But you do that. You send emails. You do a kind of employee of the month. You do this, you do that. And I was like, right, okay. Do you think when we've asked somebody for their opinion, that the minute that they give me their opinion, if I turn around, go to my computer and find the email that I sent to that individual congratulating them, that they're ever going to tell me again? So just going to think I don't listen and I'm blocked off from it. The point is, she's not had one often enough, so she's forgotten that I do that because she hasn't had it happen to her again. I said, and some of that's because I can't tell what all 1,200 people are doing. I need you guys to tell me what your people are doing so I know who to thank, because I can spot the things I can see, but I can't see 1,200 people every day and spot all the bits that they're up for. I said, so you've got to really help me and give me some information. I moved to a different organisation. I've been doing Reflections of the Week for nearly 20 years. And we introduced it there. And every week it was like pulling teeth, because I'd go to them and say, could you just give me a sentence of what you'd like to thank your team for? Or anything that people have done well. And they'd be like, oh, nothing really. I went, so they've worked for an entire week and you want to tell me that they've done nothing of any value? And they were like, I said, because that's a bit of a dodgy thing to say to the CEO, because I might wonder why I'm paying for them. Like, they'd look and they go, well, I don't mean that. I said, no, well, of course not. But if you can't find the time to find a sentence to thank somebody for what they've done, how much do you think they're going to feel valued? So we should be able to find something every week to say, look what happened, this was great, or somebody did this and actually it really made life easier, and get people to nominate each other, get them to share what's going on. You start to create a culture of gratitude, and that is one that always delivers exponential results, because when we feel valued, when we feel appreciated, then we'll go the extra mile. And I think for me, it's involving them in the solution, because if you tell them what it is you're trying to fix, even if you get it wrong, they'll know what your intention was. They'll also know if it's going wrong, so they'll be able to come and let you know that you're trying to do this, it's not working because it's not having the right effect. Whereas if you don't tell them, what happens is you think you've solved something, and they're looking at it and going, why are they doing that? We've told them the problem's X and they're doing Y. You think Y and X are going to equal, a resolution. So I think in anything, it's about being comfortable that as a leader, we don't need to know all of the answers. We need to be comfortable that we can ask the right questions to find people that have got the answers. And that's going to help us to move forward.
Wow. So basically, it's about creating like a really supportive culture whereby you actually ask questions. You ask the people how you can help them, right? Obviously, reflecting on things that have gone wrong as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess for me, and this is just my personal opinion, but for me, I've always thought as a leader that my people were my customers, and if I'm not delivering what they need, then they won't buy from me. And therefore they won't work for me, because the only thing they're buying is my leadership skill. So the best way I can find out, just the same as with any business talking to their clients, the best way you can find out what people need is to ask, what is it you need? What problem have you got? What desire do you have? And how can I help you achieve it? And I think once we've got those, once we understand, because very often we're responding to what we're making something mean, not what's actually happening. So, and that's because we layer all these other parts in. So asking the questions as to, okay, so talk to me about why we were doing that. What were you trying to achieve? Allows you to understand the person's intention, rather than just respond to their impact.
Wow. That's very, very interesting. It's we've had a few comments on Facebook here. I'm just having a quick look here. Michael Hargreaves, he says, I like to think that the future will look like that home industries that existed prior to industrialization. If you measure worker well-being by the percentage of income spent on food and shelter plus life expectancy, we're much better off. The issue is that there are too many people doing unproductive work of directing too few workers with manual skills. Interesting. It's a big conversation that. I mean, I was looking into the corporate. We're stuck on one frame on LinkedIn with no sound. Oh dear. There's not a lot I can do about that, I'm afraid. That's quite frustrating. But there we are.
Well, hopefully we can repost this afterwards.
Yeah, we'll repost it afterwards. So yeah, I mean, they were saying something the other day that actually productivity is around 2 hours and 37 minutes per day for people, which I thought was very interesting. So it sort of shows you that we don't need to be working as many hours as we've been working, right? And that itself creates a water cooler culture, because if you take the time, which isn't the 2 hours and 40 minutes, and then you go and have a conversation with people, then you're building a culture, aren't you? So you're spending more time building culture than you would have done on unproductive work, right? Potentially.
Yeah, I guess. I think it's I guess it's the definition of productive work, isn't it? And the thing is, we can't be productive all of the time. That's why they use things like Erlang C in call centers, because you are going to be unproductive. You're going to have to get up and walk to the photocopier, and whatever those parts are that still need doing. There are some tasks that are just non-value add to anybody, in which case we should identify those and remove them. But there are some that are non-value add that actually still have to be done because there's either a regulation or a law, or they've got an impact somewhere else in the journey. But I think it's about taking every opportunity we have to engage with people and to check in with them, see how things are going. If we have that, if we have that mentality that that's what we're going to do, then you just becomes a way of life. It's like, walking through the building, you just check in on people as you go, walk past. You don't have to make it so planned. I think, a bit like you would with your friends, you just check in. You don't plan for it and overstructure it and overthink it. And a lot of that is around getting confident that you don't have to know all of the answers. And that's probably one of the largest challenges for leaders, is that they often feel in a place where they've got to have answers for questions they've not even thought of yet. And to just go, I don't know, can sound really, really easy, but it can feel very hard if you're the leader to say, I don't know. I remember the first time I ever stood in front of a room full of people, and they asked me they'd asked an answer on something, and I'd not been there very long. I said, I'll be honest, I can give you my opinion, which I will, but I don't know the actual answer. So I will give you my opinion, then I will go away, I will get the actual answer, and then I'll tell you what it is, and we'll learn together. But it was about feeling comfortable. It was like, I could have got myself really nervous and gone, I'm on week one, they're going to think I'm hopeless and I don't know how to do my job. But I was like, well, I know how to do my job. The person who's employed me has employed me twice before, so they know I can do my job. So I don't know the answer to this. I'm going to get comfortable with saying, I don't know, but let's find it together, because then we start to create that culture where it's okay to be learning things. That doesn't mean to say we go out and make mistakes on purpose, but it's around saying what we want to do is keep learning, keep evolving, keep growing. And to do that, we have to admit that we're not going to know everything. Every single day is a school day. We're learning something new wherever we're going. Oh, it looks like it's fixed itself. Thanks, Gary, for letting us know. That was really helpful.
Thank you, Kim. It's been really enjoyable, and excuse me. Thanks to everyone for listening. We really appreciate you.
Thanks a lot. Take care.
Thanks for listening to Master Mindset. Please don't forget to follow wherever you listen and tell your friends.